You know, life is not happening to you, life is responding to you. And your self-image is at the core of all the results that you get on your outside world because it's a direct reflection. What you're thinking inside is what you're getting on the outside. And we really don't spend too much time thinking about that, but we really should. So today I'm going to share with you a few key concepts as to how you can improve your self-image and how you can have your environment reflecting back to you what it is that you really love and really want. So let's get started. My name is Dan Lefave, and I am co-author of Stepping Stones to Success with Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, and Dr. Denis Waitely. So I want to start off with a key concept that dates back to a book called As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. And he said this: "We think in secret and it comes to pass, environment is but our looking glass." He is talking about our environment being a reflection of what's going on in our mind. Even though we're thinking in secret, everybody can tell what's going on. We don't need to walk into a room and say to everybody, "I'm feeling down." Our body language says it. Our self-image says it, even before words leave our mouth. We don't need to say anything. People know where our minds and our hearts are at within moments, within seconds, sometimes before we even enter the room. Surprisingly. So this whole idea about thinking in secret and our environment being a reflection of what's going on in our minds, we have to come to realize that our self-image is born from within, and we must take better control over that by inputting key information so that we can really understand what it is that we want, by inputting the ideas that we want and moving towards them with action. So this whole idea of moving in the direction that we love stems from our self-image. And I'll share a story with you. A friend of mine took off about 75 pounds of fat. And I was on a caller with her one day and I said to her, "You know, you're changing your self-image, which is what's allowing you to keep the way you are now, to stay fit, to stay lean, to not put that fat back on." And she said, "You know, you're right. It's self-image." Here's an interesting story. A gentleman by the name of Maxwell Maltz wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon. And he knew through many plastic surgeries that he had changed the outer physical image of his clients, yet some of them didn't change at all. It had no impact on them. So you have to wonder, okay, so if somebody had plastic surgery done and they changed their physical figure and their look, yet they're not acting any different. Why is that? Well, because self-image is inborn. It's not on the outside, it's what's on the inside. And so unless you're going to change what's on the inside, if you're changing what's on the outside through plastic surgery or any other type of cosmetic surgery, then you're not going to get the results that you want. Self-image is a combination of self, which is what we think to be this physical body, and image, which is created in our imagination. So you might even think about it this way: self-image is really an illusion. And if you like that concept, then why don't you create an illusion of yourself being your highest and best self? Why not be your best on a daily basis? Why not create a self-image of yourself that you would love to experience and just continually fantasize on that image? That's how actors do it. That's how people in many industries do it. They fake it. They go out there and have a great, strong self-image, yet they may not feel like that at home, or they may not be like that in their typical environment. They create an image of themselves to succeed, to win, to do whatever it is that they love. In fact, I know of a story. These three gentlemen were in a debate back in college, and they were going into the debate without any experience. They had no experience whatsoever. And they suited up. They wore suits with ties and everything. They had briefcases, and they walked into this debate with such energy and high emphasis on their ability to win. And they walked in and they won the debate. They didn't win it because they were better. They only won it because of the image that they presented. Isn't that fascinating? So all I'm sharing with you is this: if you create an image of yourself through your imagination and relive that image in your mind as many times as it takes for you to have that image of yourself, whatever it is. If you want to be a strong business individual, business person, businesswoman, or if you want to be stellar in any type of environment, you're going to have to create an image of that. Otherwise, how is it going to be born? Where is it going to come from? You have to learn it from somewhere. Maybe you're looking at somebody that you love or you aspire to be like, and you'll use that image to create your own. And you'll practice and imagine yourself having that kind of persona, that kind of vibration. Because our frequency, our vibration, is what resonates back to us from our environment. Now, I want to speak with you a little bit about where our self-image is created from. It's actually created from our early childhood and from our ancestors. It is not something that we just developed over time, just happenstance. It comes from those two resources. At an early age, we learn from our environment, from our parents, and also from our ancestors when we were born. Genetic information is passed along. But we have a conscious thinking mind. We have the ability to change that if we don't like that. And so if we're going to change our self-image, we have to come to that realization. We're conscious creatures that we can co-create our environment, and we have this subconscious mind, which is actually our hard drive. It's where everything is stored and where all of our results are originated from. And we have higher faculties that we can learn from and that we can improve upon. These little mental muscles. And these higher faculties, I'll talk about them. There's 6 of them: perception, will, imagination, memory, intuition, and reason. These are mental muscles. Just like muscles you work when you go to the gym, you work your biceps, you work your quads, whatever it is. Those are physical bodily muscles. These are mental muscles. And they're different from your senses. Our senses are operating all the time. We have 6-lane highways of information coming in through our senses. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about faculties that are in our deep recesses of our mind. Perception is an interesting faculty. I'll talk about that for a moment. Perception is really what we see through our beliefs, not what we see through our eyes, because what we see through our eyes could be jaded based on our experiences, based on our beliefs. Somebody could think something is the color red, the other person could think that it's green. And that could be just based on education, based on programming, based on feedback from our parents or whomever was looking after us at an early age. And it may be incorrect information, but it really doesn't matter. And you look at the religious factions around the world, there's some religions that they will never agree. They will never agree on certain ideas. Why? Because they believe it's a fact. Their perspective is that they are right and the other folks are wrong. And that is just based on beliefs. That's perception. Now, our imagination. You've probably heard Einstein say this before: imagination is more important than anything. And I wouldn't disagree with it. In fact, I think imagination is the number one thing that we should be applying all the time. And it's just diminished. At about age 7, it sort of gets washed away and we get told to sit down, be quiet, face front, and not daydream. And so we stop using that creative faculty, but it's still there. But imagination is really key. And we're talking about your self-image, your self-imagination of yourself. You can create this imagination of yourself being the best, highest, most vibrant individual, doing the greatest things in the world, having the greatest experiences, and having people give you positive feedback. And if that's what you want, then you should create that image not just once, maybe thousands of times. And maybe you do it forever. It's like a golf player. Why do they change their swing? Why do they get new clubs? Why do they make sudden little tweaks? Why would they do that if they are at their best, like a Tiger Woods or Phil Mickelson or Bubba Watson? Why would they make slight adjustments? Well, it's simply based on this fact, and this theory is that we have to constantly make adjustments to be at our best. We can't be at our best all the time just by using one main rhythm or pattern or way of doing things. We have to change things as we go. So to be at our best, we have to make little modifications along the way. So you're going to have to constantly create this image in your mind if you want to have this type of lifestyle or a certain type of lifestyle. You're going to have to do that. Why? Because things will change. Things will change your environment, and there will be constant changes going on. And change is motion, and motion is friction. So there's always going to be something going on that's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And so to create your self-image, you're going to have to input the kinds of things that you want and love with regularity. You may do 10 minutes a day, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is that works for you. You may journal. You may record yourself. You may make a video with your voice or some text on it or something like that. There's something called Mind Movies. You can create your own movie with your own images, with text on top of it. It's sort of an affirmation / movie, and you can create that. And it'll create the image that you want. And over time, as you focus your attention on that and get closer and closer to it and start feeling it, then you're going to get emotionally involved. And as you get emotionally involved, then that self-image is going to take over. It's going to reside in your subconscious mind, and it's going to be projecting out like a beacon of light, shining out to the universe, shining out to the world, saying, this is who I am, this is what I like, this is what I love. And these are the kind of people that I like to be around. And this is the kind of lifestyle that I live as a result. And that image is going to continue to perpetuate and create your environment as long as you keep giving it attention and energy. Remember, there's two things in life. There's attention and intention. Set your intention. If it's to have a great self-image, set your intention to have that self-image. And then give it attention and keep giving it attention. Constant spaced repetition. Constant spaced repetition is the only way that we learn, as far as we know. Because you learn how to drive a car when you were in your teens by doing repetition. You learned how to say your name through repetition. If your parents said your name, let's say your name was Joe or Mary, and it said, Joe or Mary, I'm going to tell you your name once, but I'm not going to tell you again. And you're a little baby, a little infant. Well, of course you don't remember. You need to be told maybe hundreds, maybe thousands of times. And then at one point in time, as a child, you looked up and you said, yes, my name is Joe. My name is Mary. They're calling me. That's what they're saying. That sound means me, for me to look, for me to pay attention. That's how we learn. And then they help create our self-image through their experiences, what they learned from their parents and their environment and from their ancestors, and they pass that on to us. And then we get the choice to do what we want with that. So if we don't like ourselves and our self-image, then we must take a serious look at ourselves in the mirror and think about it the way that we want to look. And we may have old images of ourselves, and we should use those to empower us and to move in the direction that we want to, instead of hanging on to the image that we have currently. And so if we just do that with regularity, it's inputting to the mind the kind of idea and the kind of image that you want. And use images that you want in your environment of others or of other situations. Maybe your self-image has something to do with the environment you operate in versus how you look. Maybe you're completely satisfied with the way you look, and you want to change what your environment is like. So you're going to change your perspective about your environment so that you can have the kind of environment you want. Because if you don't like your environment and you keep complaining about it, you're going to have more of that environment. Versus if you talk about and think about the environment that you do want, you're going to bring your attention to it. That's your intention. You bring your attention to it, and it's going to draw the people, places, and things that you want towards yourself. And so, as you practice this, you want to ask yourself effective questions as well. You want to ask yourself some effective questions to see if this is working. Then this is moving in the right direction. How do you feel? What's the next step? Where are you going? What kinds of things do you want to do going into the future? In closing, I would like to say a special thanks to Jeff for having me on his program today. And to honor you for showing up, I'm going to gift you with a chapter from my book, Stepping Stones to Success, with Deepak Chopra, Jack Canfield, and Dr. Denis Waitely. So have a read and apply some of the principles that you learn within that chapter. It's full of nuggets, and I'm sure you'll take away at least one. And you can get that at www.danlefavecoaching.com. That's www.danlefavecoaching.com. And at the end of every day, remember to ask yourself these questions. Did I love? Did I laugh? Did I learn? And did I serve? Until we meet again, I thank you very much and look forward to speaking with you again. Bye for now.